Why is it that when others braise pumpkin and taro, the result is tender, sweet, and coated in a rich, clinging sauce? Yet when you make it, the taro ends up hard and undercooked, or the pumpkin disintegrates into a mushy mess. Today, I'm sharing a reliable home-style recipe. You won't need any complex seasonings. Just master the order in which ingredients are added and control the heat. I guarantee the pumpkin will turn out fresh, sweet, and silky, while the taro becomes tender and flavorful. Spoon it over rice, and every bite is bursting with the natural, pure aroma of the ingredients. Don't let the simplicity of this dish fool you. It is a true nutritional powerhouse. Pumpkin is rich in beta-carotene, vitamin C, soluble dietary fiber, and minerals like potassium, magnesium, zinc, and calcium. Its high carotenoid content converts into vitamin A in the body, playing a crucial role in maintaining night vision, preventing night blindness, protecting epithelial tissue health, and promoting bone development. Taro is also a nutritional treasure trove, packed with taro polysaccharides, high-quality starch, protein, various B vitamins, and minerals. It serves as both a vegetable and a staple grain substitute. It is easily digested and absorbed and helps boost the immune system. When golden, sweet pumpkin meets tender, smooth taro, these two high-fiber, healthy ingredients create a perfect harmony. Not only is the dish low-fat and highly nutritious, suitable for all ages, but it is also the ideal choice for modern diners seeking a light, guilt-free meal. Follow my steps, and let's get cooking. If you want to use pumpkin as a staple food substitute, choosing the right pumpkin is crucial. When selecting a mature pumpkin, first look at the skin. A high-quality mature pumpkin has a vibrant, deep orange-yellow color and a surface free of spots, damage, or insect holes. Pick it up and feel it. It should be firm and solid to the touch. This indicates high maturity and sufficient internal moisture, ensuring a sweet flavor when cooked. Second, consider the shape and feel. Try to choose a pumpkin that looks short and stout. Pumpkins with this squat shape often have thicker, meatier flesh. When selecting a pumpkin, pick up two of similar size and weigh them in your hands. Be sure to choose the heaviest one. A heavier pumpkin indicates denser flesh, greater maturity, and a higher starch content. Once cooked, this type of mature pumpkin offers a wonderfully floury, creamy texture, making it an excellent, high-quality, low-calorie staple food. Once you've brought your chosen pumpkin home, place it on a cutting board. Carefully cut it open to reveal the seeds and soft, fibrous pulp inside. Using a small spoon, scrape along the inner walls to completely remove all the pulp and seeds. After scraping it clean, rinse the pumpkin under running water, using your hands to wash away any remaining fibers or debris from both the inside and outside. Then let it drain. After washing, it's time to peel the pumpkin. Note that we won't be using a standard kitchen knife here. Instead, simply grab a common fruit peeler. Follow the natural ridges of the pumpkin skin and gently peel away the hard outer layer. Using a peeler is not only safe and convenient, but also allows for precision. You can remove just the tough outer skin while preserving the sweet, nutritious, golden yellow flesh lying right beneath it. Set the peeled pumpkin aside on a plate. After removing the hard skin, give the pumpkin another thorough rinse under clean water. While rinsing, wash away any remaining bits of skin. Once cleaned, place the pumpkin in a colander or pat it dry with clean kitchen paper towels. Drying the pumpkin is important. It prevents slipping while cutting, making the process safer. and ensures that excess moisture doesn't interfere with the aromatics frying in the oil later on. Once dry, place the pumpkin flat on the cutting board and get ready to cut it into pieces. When cutting the pumpkin, be careful not to slice the pieces too thinly. Since pumpkin has high water and starch content, its texture softens rapidly upon heating. If cut too thin or small, the pieces easily break apart or disintegrate during braising or stir-frying, turning into a mushy mess that ruins both the presentation and the eating experience. The ideal size is to cut the pumpkin into chunks measuring approximately 3 centimeters in length and thickness. This size is just right. Here is the specific cutting method. First, following the grain of the pumpkin flesh, slice it into thick, uniform strips, keeping the width at around 3 centimeters. Once you have these long strips, align them neatly and cut across them to create 3-centimeter cubes. Pumpkin chunks cut to these specifications are highly uniform in size. This ensures even heating and quick softening, allowing them to absorb flavors thoroughly, while maintaining their attractive, distinct shape without turning to mush. They end up soft yet intact and delicious. Set the prepared chunks aside. After handling the pumpkin, move on to the taro. Thoroughly rinse the peeled taro with water and pat dry. Place the washed taro on the cutting board and slice it in half down the middle. This creates a flat surface, preventing the taro from rolling around while you cut. Next, slice the taro into pieces of uniform thickness. The same principle applies here as with the pumpkin. Be sure not to cut the slices too thin. Aim for a thickness and length of about 3 centimeters for the taro pieces, matching the size of the pumpkin chunks prepared earlier. If the taro slices are too thin, they easily break apart when stirred during the long braising process. Not only do they lose their neat shape, but they also lack that satisfying, floury, and tender texture of a solid chunk. Only by cutting them into these large, thick 3-centimeter cubes can they fully absorb the rich sauce during braising, resulting in a texture that is incredibly soft and floury, while remaining intact and delicious. Once sliced, place them on a plate and set aside. Now, let's get ready to pan fry the taro. First, we need to heat and season the wok to prevent sticking. I've shared this super practical non-stick technique in many of my previous videos. Start by turning the heat to high to completely evaporate any residual moisture in the wok. Next, pour in some cooking oil and heat it up to coat the surface. Once you see faint wisps of smoke rising from the bottom, turn off the heat immediately and let the hot oil sit in the wok for 1 minute. During this minute of resting, the oil penetrates the microscopic pores of the wok surface, forming a perfectly even, natural non-stick film. After a minute, turn the heat back on to warm the oil again. A wok treated this way ensures the taro won't stick at all during frying. Once the oil is hot, add the taro pieces to the wok and start stir-frying. Keep stirring constantly with your spatula to ensure every cut surface of the taro makes full contact with the hot wok and oil, ensuring even cooking. Keep a close eye on the taro as you stir. If you notice any sides that haven't touched the hot oil, looking raw and white, flip them quickly so the white cut surfaces press against the bottom of the wok. Don't worry about using too much oil here. Because the wok has been seasoned to be naturally non-stick, it won't absorb excess oil, allowing each piece of taro to get a perfect coating of hot oil even with a minimal amount used. To speed up the cooking process, cover the wok with a lid. The trapped steam increases the heat. Let it cook for a minute or two. The taro will cook through quickly. Since no water is added, don't keep the lid on too long. Check after about a minute to make sure nothing is burning. Patiently continue stir-frying over low heat until the taro skin turns an appetizing golden yellow and releases a rich, fragrant taro aroma. Remove the lid. Once the taro surfaces look golden brown and fragrant, and the texture has become soft and tender, remove them from the wok and set aside. Next, we'll use the same wok seasoning method to stir-fry the pumpkin. Let me share a little secret with you. I once tried skipping the step of coating the pan with oil before stir-frying the pumpkin, just to save time. It was a disaster. The pumpkin stuck everywhere the moment it hit the pan. I couldn't scrape it loose or flip it over. It was incredibly frustrating. So, please, never skip the step of coating the pan with oil. Once the pan is properly coated, you won't have to worry about sticking again. However, pumpkin has a high sugar content, so it can still burn easily when exposed to high heat. That's why, once the pumpkin is in the pan, you must keep stirring constantly to ensure every piece cooks evenly. Stir-fry patiently until the surface of the pumpkin turns a light golden yellow and the pieces start to feel soft and tender to the touch. At this point, add half a bowl of water to the pan. If you enjoy the broth or like mixing it with rice, feel free to add more water according to your preference. Once the water is added, quickly cover the pan and let it simmer. Pay attention to this step. The pumpkin needs to simmer for a good amount of time. If the simmering time is too short, the outside might soften, but the inside won't be fully cooked. This leaves an unpleasant, hard, raw texture that really ruins the eating experience. Once the pumpkin is thoroughly soft, tender, and fully cooked, remove the lid and add the previously pan-fried taro chunks back into the pan. Then, cover the pan again and let the pumpkin and taro simmer together in the broth. While that's happening, let's season the dish. Add a suitable amount of salt to enhance the flavor. If you prefer a sweeter taste, especially for the taro, you can also add a little white sugar to boost the sweetness and aroma. After adding the seasonings, cover the pan and let everything simmer for another 2 minutes, allowing the savory sweet broth to fully soak into the taro and pumpkin. When the time is up, remove the lid. And look, this delicious, tender, and flavorful braised pumpkin with taro is ready to serve. This braised pumpkin with taro is tender, sweet, and nutritious, a healthy dish that both the elderly and children in the family will love. Give it a try and let the kids have a taste. If you found this tutorial helpful, please hit the like button and share it with your family and friends. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on future home-style cooking updates. Feel free to let me know in the comments section what kind of dishes you'd like to see next. I'll be sure to include them in future updates. Thank you all for watching.